So I'm really excited because to draft this new short story, I am going to use my roommate's AlphaSmart. I have never used this before, but I am hoping that it will help me to kind of just fast draft this, get the words on the page, and figure out what the structure of this short story is that I want to tell, and kind of not get in my own way and in my own head, because this is the first short story that I am contracted to write officially. So it's kind of daunting but also exciting, and I will let you guys know how I feel about both about writing short stories and about using an AlphaSmart. Okay, so if you don't know what an AlphaSmart is, it's pretty much just a very simple keyboard that has this small little window that is meant to help you write without being distracted. And so what I kind of like is it's pretty straightforward. Like, this didn't come with instructions. Actually, the AlphaSmart isn't in active production anymore, so a lot of times people are buying them used or refurbished or something like that. So there's just very simple. You can have 8 different files, and you can toggle through the files by going through these buttons up here. As you can see, we don't have anything in any of our files, but I'll go into file 1, and then you just start typing, and like it just looks like this. And you can like move up and down like in the paragraphs, like after you, it's not like a Nintendo, like an old school Nintendo Super Mario where like you can't go backwards once you've reached past a certain point. It's just like really hard for you to read much more than like, I think, let's see, it's 4 lines. Yeah, so like it's much harder for you to read past 4 lines, which kind of I think is supposed to be a little bit like psychosomatic, make you not overthink everything about the story and just focus on getting the words down, which I definitely need right now. Okay, so I'm testing out how to send the file that I just wrote on my AlphaSmart onto my computer, and I will plug it in. So I actually, by saying testing, I actually tried this already, and I found out that it does not transfer as a file, like a doc file. It actually just starts to type out whatever you typed in here into wherever your cursor is on your computer. So it started typing in a random document I already had open, which was terrifying. But I'm going to press send, and I'll show you what I mean. And then here you go. Look, it's typing. It's just typing out my document that I just created in the AlphaSmart, but now typing it into here, which actually I do think it's really interesting, because if I wrote a bunch of scenes that I wanted to input into a document onto my computer, then I can just put the cursor where those scenes should be inserted and then send it in, and it'll type it out, and that's pretty cool. So it's not the worst way to transfer a file. It's slow though, like it's very slowly transferring, but for what it is, it works. Okay, so day 1 of using the AlphaSmart, and I actually really liked it. Today I wrote, I didn't really write that long. I wrote for maybe an hour, and I got 1,084 words, and I think that was pretty good for an hour of writing, and I think they're mostly usable words, which I think is really nice. I will say that it takes a little bit of getting used to, like, just because I was like trying to balance the keyboard on my lap like I do my laptop, but it felt like weird. It felt like unbalanced because it didn't have like the screen that comes up here. So then I just put it on like a pillow. It was totally fine. I also learned that apparently the AlphaSmart was first created for use in schools to like teach kids how to type without them being distracted by the internet, which I didn't know. So apparently a lot of writers that like use the AlphaSmart now, they have to buy them used because they're not being produced anymore because schools now use like laptops and Chromebooks and stuff, and like you'll get a used AlphaSmart and it'll have like a kid's name like written on the back. So I thought that was like kind of a cool fact that these things that were used for one very simple task have now been revitalized by writers who realize that it's really good for keeping us from being distracted from the internet while we write. So I think it's actually going pretty well. I'm enjoying it. As for writing a short story for one of the first times ever, that's a little bit of a different kind of feeling than writing a full book. I realized by talking about the world I wanted to build for this short story that I actually can't really talk too much about the world building except for like the things that are directly relevant. And that's just because it's such a short like blip of the world that I'm showing in like these 4,000 or 5,000 words, and it's just a different thing to wrap my mind around, that like my world building can be immense in my own brain, but like I don't really have space to put it on the page. So it's a lot more of me being very targeted and figuring out really how the world building directly affects the plot and the characters, and that's the only thing that I'm trying to focus on. And the greater world building that I have is just like, how did it affect things in order to create things the way that they are, but that's just from my own knowledge. It's not something that I'm allowed to put on the page with such little like word count. So that's something new to wrap my head around, especially because I love world building. So the fact that like I have to be very like focused is a little bit hard, but it's been a fun experience so far. I'm going to try to get a little bit more to the meat of the story. I think the words today, I'll have to cut them down a little bit, I already know, because I think I did too much like lead and exposition. So, but I'm gonna leave that for future Cat to worry about. I think I just want to get the story on the page, and if it's way too long, then I'll just have to figure out how to cut it in the future. So that's where I'm at. Okay, so today's update is that I wrote about 800 words, which is great because I was only able really to write for about like an hour today. And so 800 words in an hour is pretty good, but I will also say that I am going a lot slower than I thought I was going to go, and I think part of it is like psychological. I think that I'm overthinking it a lot because I have so much fewer words to use in a short story than I do in what I'm used to, which is a full-length novel, that every word feels like it has to be really significant. And so I'm overthinking it on like such a small micro like line level right now. So I'm really trying to overcome that because I want to just be able to like write out exactly what the plot is of what I think needs to happen in the story, and then go back and kind of shine it up and cut down any words that I don't need and add descriptions that I do need, and all of the stuff that I usually do for a manuscript, just on a smaller level. I think it's just that it's really hard for me to overcome the idea that I have so much. It's just, I think it's really hard for me to like overcome the concepts that I have such fewer amount of words for this manuscript, for this short story. So that's something that's really getting to me. And I also do wonder if I created too ambitious of a plot for a short story. Like, I'm just really used to plotting full-length novels, so I am wondering if I kind of plotted not a full-length novel, but like a novella. So I'm just trying to figure out there what I'm doing. So it's definitely been a little bit of a struggle, but the AlphaSmart's helping because it's at least letting me kind of like get rid of some of like my over analyzing of some of the words, because I can only see so many lines on the screen at a time. So I have really been enjoying that. I also realized that I forgot to tell you guys what my word count goal is for this short story, and it's between 4,000 to 5,000 words. So right now I'm at like 1,900 words. So yeah, we'll see how long it is once I get to the end of the actual plot.
So it does feel like every time I vlog, I have redone my desk, and I'm going to mostly blame that on shelter in place, but also I just really like reorganizing things. So I used to have like, you know, a cardboard box here with like a computer stand, but now I got this really cool like wooden shelf situation so that I can put all of my things in these little compartments. There's my extra laptop down there, and my main laptop goes on top so that it's kind of like eye level when I'm sitting down. And then these are my new keyboard and mouse, which I actually think I had last time, so that might not be too new. And that's mainly it. It's just like this organizational system, which I really like. So yeah, this is my new desk.
So I wanted to do a little like a mini unboxing, because I got these face masks from this company called Vida, V-I-D-A, and like this isn't sponsored or anything, I just think that this is really important. So I usually use reusable cloth face masks for just my everyday grocery shopping and going to places where I know that social distancing is more possible. But I also think that with the fall, there's been a lot bigger of an uptick of COVID, and a lot of us have been having to go to places where social distancing isn't as possible, especially with the election coming up in the United States. My roommate wants to volunteer as a poll worker, and we're obviously gonna go and vote. So I really wanted to get something that was very, very safe. But so I got these KN95 masks, and they're pretty much masks that are super duper safe. They are non-medical folding self-suction filter respirators. So they're pretty much like a much more intense filter, but they're not like medical grade. They're not the kind that we need for healthcare workers. So you're not taking away a mask that could be used for medical reasons from a healthcare worker, but you are protecting yourself and the people around you better. And I really do like that. But keeping in mind that this is only for a couple of uses, they have this great sustainability program, which I also really like, which means that you can return the used masks to them. They provide you with a packing slip in here that you put onto this same packaging, and you just send the used ones back to them in this used packaging, and then they will recycle it for you. You see here it says like, do not don't throw them away, return to recycle. So I really like that program, because I think we need to be like really aware of protecting ourselves and people around us these days, but we also need to be aware of like protecting the environment. So this is a really cool program. Again, this video is not sponsored, but Vida, if you want to sponsor me, that's great. But yeah, go to Vida, V-I-D-A, and look up their KN95 masks. final check-in time for this vlog. I kind of decided to stop doing the vlog because I decided to stop using the AlphaSmart for this short story. Now, it's not because I don't think the AlphaSmart is useful for fast drafting. I actually can totally see why people use this for fast drafting a project. The reason that I am stopping, and I'm kind of considering this a fail, just a personal fail, is because I am very not used to writing short stories. So I think that I made an error in thinking that I could test out both using the AlphaSmart and trying to write a short story all in one. What I need to do is kind of slow down and figure out what I think a short story by Cat Cho sounds like, and just use my Microsoft Word to plot that out and develop it in a greater sense of an overview. Now, I am going to start drafting another book because NaNoWriMo is right around the corner. So my hope is that I can actually test out the AlphaSmart again, and I can make a vlog about that, of me just writing a full novel, which I'm way more used to, and I actually think the AlphaSmart might be better for that when it comes to me. So at the end of the day, this vlog is supposed to just be a personal fail and not supposed to give you any information about whether I think the AlphaSmart is good or not for writers to use. Please do not take that away from this. The only thing you need to take away from this is that I am actually really bad at planning, and I don't know my own brain, and that it's 2020 and time has no meaning. So I am going to retry to use the AlphaSmart later, and I will let you guys know how that goes. But for now, I just need to take my time and finish this short story and just like use all of the tools that are available to me, because writing a short story is hard, y'all. It's super duper hard. So if you're trying to do that for the first time, then my heart goes out to you. And I hope that this vlog was fun and interesting despite my fails, and that everyone has a happy writing time. Bye.